Shortly, I'll share my screen. Okay, let's start. So let me hope you can all see my screen. Okay. And now we are going to first look at sub positions, how to set sub positions, or how to set sub sales or margin calls that are sold independently. So sub positions are those margin calls that you set from number 5 up to the last call. And these calls help you to prevail on the market. Like even though the market is down, you're floating, you'll experience some sales. You'll see some sales taking place. You'll be making money in the downward market. You'll be making money in the downward market. So you'll be seeing the robot doing the sales and buys over and over again. So as you can see, so far this morning, I've had 20 transactions, you see. They are buys. So you can see buy, at least each and every, within minutes, you see buys. So you can see there is a new buy, new buy, new buy, new buy, new buy, new buy. So the market has been moving down. You can see buy, just buys taking place. There was a sale. Yeah, you see. So it's always just like that. So with sub positions, like you will experience a lot of them. Each and every minute you'll see buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, according to your capital. So it's a lot. The order message is a lot. Okay. Yeah. So when we are trading, let's say you want to trade sub positions and you arrange them according to how they are performing. Let's say that if you want to use the method of choosing the worst performing coin, sometimes I don't recommend this, choosing the last performing coin, because at times like you may think the coin has fallen, but it's just that it is being oversold, but the selling pressure is not so much. Then it tends to give you a percentage change that quite looks like is big, that the market is down and the market can fall again. For example, it works, but on rare occasions, that like this coin. You see, this coin, you see that it has dropped. Then some people say like, maybe it has dropped, let me expose everything. No, please. Set margin calls, proper margin calls. So when you're setting sub positions, or when you're dealing with margin calls that sell independently, you have to mind about what we call coin selection. You have to mind about what we call coin selection. There are coins that are very good, coins on a downward trend, or coins that have a minimal pump, a minimal rise that you can set. Recently, I've been giving out some coins for people to trade on sub positions, like Beck. It has really performed well this week. It has given out money. WorldCoin has had a simple rise as well. 1,000 sats has given money. What else? Even these other coins, Solana has been good, INJ has been good, and some other coins now, like the meme coins also, that have been good. Like if you can talk about Bonk, because I normally give at Bonk, so they have been performing well. So you just have to mind about the coin selection. Yeah, good coin selection gives you good, because the volatility is different. The movement of these coins is completely different in most cases. So you may find some coins are very volatile, some coins are not very volatile. So let's use this as an example. And this time I will use minimal capital as small as $500. Okay. I think let me start by this. I think this is better. Yeah, I think this is better. I want us to talk about my strategy setting. So most of you don't know this section. You don't know what it means, my strategy setting. This is where you go and you save your strategies so that if you're coming up with a setup, in order not to waste time, you just have to go and choose that strategy you've saved recently. So let's click on my strategy setting. So when you click on my strategy setting, you're going to add their strategies that you want to use whenever you're setting coins. So you click on add it now. So you'll be given the settings, then you're going to set. So this is how you're going to set. So risk type, you leave it on steady. Remark, that's optional, leave it. Then first buying amount, with my strategy, I normally use 10. We are going to use an example of $500. Then open position doubled is always off and the AI margin call. So I always use a range of 15 margin calls to 30 margin calls, 15 to 30 margin calls according to your capital. So we are going to use 15 margin calls. And then let's say we are going to set coins that easily follow the trend, coins that don't have that much volatility on the market. If I can talk about like XRP, if I can talk about like SOL, if I can talk about INJ, if I can talk about COMP, if I can talk about these coins like like you can see on the coin market cap, if I can talk about even some other coins that easily follow the trend and the coins that have been down. Let's talk about like Beck has risen like at least by 15%. Let's talk about WorldCoin and some other coins. So for this, sometimes I leave it as 1.3, then or maybe I leave it as 1. So for better explanation, whole position take profit ratio on sub position is that percentage that sells the first 4 margin calls, Then we have what we call the whole position take profit callback. The whole position take profit callback is the additional percentage to the whole position take profit ratio. So you're trying to command the bot that let it increase 0.3 on this so that the robot sell it. So this one, the buying callback is the vice versa. So let it decrease by 0.5. So what does this help? Sometimes when you put your buying callback, it helps like whenever the coin is sold, like let's say you're trading on cycle, you've entered here around there, then the coin 1.3 is here, let it sell there. Then you're trying to sell it, let it reduce by 0.5. That means it's going to hit 1.3, then to reduce by 0.5. Then it will have to sell. This means that it has not sold here, but it has sold around there. So when it sells around there, that means it is going to buy automatically here, not there. So you find like you get an advantage on the market to buy on a lower price than the price that the initial price it will be selling at the whole position take profit ratio. Let me hope I'm okay with that. Those people who don't really understand the callbacks. Let me hope I've explained that the callbacks. Why do we need these callbacks? Guys, have we got the explanation of the callbacks? Like you see callbacks, buying callback, whole position take profit callback, but you don't really understand what they mean. Okay, kindly repeat. Okay, I will repeat. Okay, I said what you see here, the whole position take profit ratio is the percentage you take out of the market. If you're trading sub positions, this 1.3 sells the first 4 margin calls because they are not sub position. Then we've got the callback. I said the whole position take profit callback. I said this is an additional percentage to what you've set here. So this means that if you leave it like that, it will sell 1.3 plus 0.3. That's what it will sell. So if you leave on buying callback, this means it is going to sell at it is going to sell at 1.3 plus 0.3, then minus 0.5. I don't know whether I'm making myself clear. I think let me make it more clear on the trading view. Let me make it more clear on the trading view. That's when you'll understand what I mean by. So this is what I mean, that if you've ordered your bot, let's say that it increased by the price of let me try to make it big. Wait to observe it well. I want to explain it with the trading view so that you understand what I'm trying to explain. Yes, so this is your current price, then you entered the market here. So if it rises up by 1.3, oh, this coin is moving down. Someone asked me about this coin yesterday. I told him we are not good with this coin. We are not good with this coin. If you do not set margin calls, okay. So let's say that you've taken 1.3 and that default take profit, what you see, then you get a whole portion take profit callback, this one here. So the 1.3 is this. So this is the callback 0.3. So this means that the callback, the whole portion take profit callback, it's going just to increase from where you told your bot to sell by 0.3, just there. So if it hits that price, then you have your buying callback as 0.5 here, there. This means that it is going to reduce in this way. Now, this is like it has added a 0 point, then it is going to reduce by 0.5 there. Let me hope you get what I'm trying to explain. This means that you gave this coin 1.3. If you did not have the callbacks, it was going to sell at exactly 1.3. But you've put the whole portion take profit callback. It is going to hit 1.3. Then it is going to add 0.3. Then after adding 0.3, then it is going to reduce by buying callback by 0.5 down. This means that it is going to sell here. It will not sell neither here nor there, but it will sell here. So you will find that an advantage is that whenever the coin sells and is on cycle, like whenever it sells, like if it sells here, it will buy automatically on there. But if it reduces, that means instead of buying here, it is going to buy at a low price here. That's the advantage of using buy and callback. Let me hope I've explained that very well, and we are well with it. Let me hope I've explained that very well. Let me hope I've explained that very well. Me too, I don't understand callback. Let me hope, try to chat me. Let me hope we are okay with that. The buying callback and the whole portion take profit callback. Yeah, by the way, if you're trading with one shot, in most times you don't need the callbacks. You need the callbacks when you're trading on cycle. But please explain how we can set the callbacks. We don't exaggerate the ratios. Okay, I said the callbacks, it depends on where your price you want it to be reduced. Not in order for the robot not to buy very high, but at least let it go down. I think the higher buying callback you can go is 0.5, but you can use between 0.1 and 0.5, the buying callback. Let me hope we are okay with that. We can proceed. So many of you have been looking at the callbacks, you don't know what they mean. So that's a better explanation for callbacks. The increase and the decrease in price so that the robot buys at that particular price. They are saying that buying callback cannot be higher or equal to margin call drop. Yeah, it cannot. If it is bigger than the margin call drop, let's say that if you're using like 0.5 as your margin call drop, it cannot, it can't. This is what I mean. Like if you're using callback of 0.5 here, then when you go to margin configuration, then you have also 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. It will not accept. But as you can see, I can be able to save this because it can accept. It is not 0.5, but if it is, if yours, you have margin configurations of 0.5, it will not accept. So if you have 0.5, you can simply make it 0.4. As simple as that. It's all about understanding these settings. You just have to understand. So there are many leaders that cannot explain this. They'll just tell you put 0.1, but why? The explanation. So it is all about understanding. So the buying callback and the whole portion take profit callback, they balance the price, the good price at which the robot is supposed to buy. In most cases, when you're trading on cycle. So if you're using like 0.5, like this should not be equal or more than the margin configuration, the margin call drop in the margin configuration. Let me hope I'm okay with that, Mr. Ronald. Let me hope I'm okay with that. What about sub positions called? I'm getting to that. Now, we've got what we call. I want you to understand these settings, don't just cram them. Understand how they work. We've got what we call sub position take profit callback. I said if you're trading sub positions, these callbacks work on the first 4 margin calls. How about the 5th margin call and other margin calls? Because they are independent, they have got what we call their take profit callback, but they don't have the buying callback. They have the take profit callback there. This means that when we go to the sub positions, because they're independent and they're sold independently, 1.3, this means they've got their callbacks of 0.3, like as we saw. That means they'll be sold at 1.3 plus 0.3 as their callback. As simple as that. As simple as that. Let me hope I'm okay with that. As simple as that. So let's proceed. So if you're setting in that way, I can simply leave mine on 0.5. Yeah, I can decide to leave this on 0. I want it to be sold at 1.3 exactly, then it reduces by 0.5 so that it gets a very good buying price. Then the sub position take profit callback. I always want my sub positions to be sold at exactly that percentage I've given them. So I always make this one 0. So it's all about understanding. Don't do what I'm doing, but understand it. Like you can say that no, my sub positions, I want them to be sold. My sub position take profit callback. Let let them be sold at 1.3, but let them increase by 0.2 on 1.3, so that just like that. Then when you're okay with that, in most cases, when you're trading on sub positions, sometimes I recommend you to trade or to first leave it on cycle. First leave your coin on cycle, because you may set sub positions and the coin moves out before it buys even one margin call. But if it sells on cycle for the first time on 1.3, there is a chance that it may get down and buy your margin calls. That's why I tell you to first leave it on cycle. You can change it from cycle to one shot when like it has sold all the sub positions and it has been pumping and selling the first four margin calls over and over and over again. So you can put it on one shot, then it gets out, you can find another coin, you set on sub position. Let me hope I'm okay with that. So after that, we are going to look at what we call the margin configuration. After putting in my settings, I'm using $500. Click on margin configuration. Let me hope, guys, we are following margin configuration. So when you click on margin configuration, you'll be given this section. You'll be given this section. Guys, for those who have been attending the sessions, my sessions, leader, Lawrence, and some other YouTube. So I want you to tell me what margin call drop and multiple buying ratio is. I want to see whether we are learning. I'm tired of being on Zoom. I teach something over and over again, like 10 times someone comes in. And old members, what does margin call drop means? What does multiple buying ratio? How do you understand? Like in your way, how do you understand by those two words? Margin call drop and multiple buying ratio. Let me know. Let me know. Because on this, on my sessions, like it's all about interaction. Like let's interact. Let's learn together. Let's learn together. How do you tell that it has sold cycle and sold again? You'll see cycle doesn't move out. It will sell and it will keep there. Guys, let me know what is margin call drop and multiple buying ratio. Maybe I can put it here. This is what I mean. What is margin call drop? Type in the chat. I want to know if we are learning. What is the meaning of this and what's the meaning of this? Because it is very easy for you to be on Zoom learning, but you're not paying attention and all that. So I need to know that we are learning, at least we are learning something. For the old members, what's the meaning of, how do you understand by margin call drop and multiple buying ratio? Sean says, margin call drop is the percentage by which the board buys when the coins fall, maybe he says fails by a set percentage. Maybe he wanted to say falls by a set percentage drop. Yeah, margin drop is the percentage the coin's price is likely to fall. Okay. Can we speak? It's hard to type. But you've typed. You've typed. That means you can give. I can give you a microphone and you explain. I understand margin call drop as a percentage at which the bot will buy at, and the buy-in ratio is the how many times UT buys at that drop. Okay, multiple buying ratio means ordering the bot to multiply the first buying amount. Wow, I like the explanation. Now, this is what we call, I like all the explanation, but for Brian, this is what we call the way you understand it, and it is the right way. He said multiple buying ratio means ordering the robot to multiply the first buying amount. I like that because the first buying amount normally moves with the multiple buying ratio. What you put on your first buying amount determines the times the robot is supposed to buy. Multiple buying ratio is the number of the times the bot buys. Yes. MPR, that is MPR, amount the bot is taking. Multiple buying ratio, okay? In the market at the exact drop of its corresponding case. Yeah, we are learning. I like that. I want us to interact. I want us to know, like, at least we are learning something so that we teach our downlines, we teach our new members. We don't have to keep this knowledge ourselves. We need to make money. When it falls, the percentage of the drop, from the dropout, the function of the tracking cover up, it means it cover up, it's the margin call drop. Okay, good explanation, but try to break it down for people to understand. Not everyone, man. Your English is somehow, full of terms and what, but good explanation. Guys, I'm very happy that we are learning. I'm very happy that we are learning. Someone says, give me the microphone. I explain. Dr. Bond. Let me look for you. Okay. There you are, trying to unmute and tell us. Dr. Bond,
Okay.
are you there?
Yes, multiple buying ratio. I think everyone has explained. By the time you reached me, everyone had explained the best way. So I think I'll answer the next question if at all it comes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for participating. Okay. Let me hope, guys, we've got that. Let me try to explain it my way. I want to make it very simple for those who have not understood it. Okay. Whenever we are setting, there are three features that move together. For example, you see the first buying amount, the margin call limit, and the margin configuration. These three things move together. You have to know that the first buying amount, the margin call limit, and margin configuration. So what you put on first buying amount, margin call limit, you set it on margin configuration. Let's go to margin configuration. Okay, margin call drop simply means, as they have explained, they've all put good explanation. Margin call drop simply means the percentage at which you instruct your bot to buy every time it moves down by the calls you put there. For example, let me explain this. Then the multiple buying ratio are the times the robot is supposed to buy according to what you've instructed. When I say instructions, these are the instructions you're giving the bot according to your first buying amount. So when you look at these figures, to use them, you should consider your first buying amount. What do you have on your first buying amount? If you have 100, that means it is buying 100 times 2. That means it's carrying $200. If you have 100 and it is buying times 4, it is buying $400. And you have to make sure that you have that capital in your wallet. So in simple terms, according to my first buying amount as 10, as 10. I'm instructing my robot to buy 10 times 2, that is 20, when the market moves down by 3.5. Let me hope that is very clear and that is very simple. That's the first call. For the second call, I'm instructing my robot to buy 4 times. That means it's buying 10 times 4, that's 40, when the market continues to move down by 4%, just like that. On this third call, I'm instructing my robot to buy 8 times. That's 10 times 8, that's $80, when the market falls again by 4.5. Let me hope we're okay with that. Let me hope we're okay with that. By the time we all leave this Zoom, we know what this means. Let me hope we're okay with that. Okay, better explanation. When it falls to the percentage of the dropout, the function of the tracking cover up, when the replenishment price is reached, the amount of the first order will be multiplied by. Good explanation. Okay, let me, guys, let me hope you're okay with that. Someone says exactly. Let me hope we are okay with that. We are how many on Zoom? And my explanation, I think, is a better one. Let me hope we are all learning. Let me hope we are all learning what all this means. Participate in the chat room, so that we communicate. Participate in the chat room so that we communicate very well. I want to know whether what I'm teaching you, you really understand. By the time you leave Zoom, you know what to do. You can sit down and set your board without disturbing your upline, your mentor. You also become an upline. You also become a mentor. Very simple, just like that. It will be very easy when you're teaching someone. Like you know, that's why I am not reluctant about lessons. Like whenever I'm teaching you, I'm also practicing. I may have forgotten something, so I'm also learning. I practice, so it gives me confidence to believe in what I'm doing. And when I see people making money, that means results are coming out. That means we are learning. That means we are learning. Okay. Okay, we are learning. Okay, so let's proceed. Now, with my $500, we are going to first deal with we're going to first deal with the multiple buying ratio. This is where you have the best. This is where you have most of what you have to do. The multiple buying ratio. So if you're trading sub positions, my idea here is that when we are trading sub positions or sub sales, we normally concentrate on, we put our focus on the 5th call up to the last call, because these calls are independent. Whatever is bought here is sold independently. Whatever is bought from the 5th call is sold independently. So this means that the first 4 margin calls, they are not so important in the game, though they are important. Like it's the foundation of the strategy, but they are not so important. Like we don't put much focus on this, but you have to set them well as well. So let's say that I'm using $500. For me, I'll expose $10. That's one time. 10 times 1. 10 times 1. Okay. 10 times 1 is 10. 10, 10. That means that I've exposed 10 on each and every call. That means I've exposed 10 on each and every call. 10 times 1 is 10. 10 times 1, 10, 10, 10. That means my first buying amount was 10. That's what I first exposed. Then this is 10, 10, 10. This is 4. This is 40 plus 40. That means out of 500, I've used now 50. I'm remaining with 450. So I need this 450. That's about 90% of my capital. I need it to be exposed. I need it to be exposed on the sub positions here, because it's where the money is. This is where the money is. So if I've said 15 margin calls, and for the first 4 margin calls are covered, that means I'm remaining with 11 margin calls. So how am I going to do that? So I'll simply go to my calculator. Then I'll say I first expose 10 as my first buying amount plus the 40 on the first 4 calls. That's 50. Then I'll say 500. Let's make mathematics simple. Minus 50, I remain with 400. That means my first 4 calls are covered. I had set 15 margin calls. Now that I'm remaining with 11 margin calls, then I'm going to divide the rest of the capital in 11 margin calls. In 11 margin calls, then I get 40.9. So on average, we are going to use 40. We are going to use 40. So this means each and every call is going to be carrying $40. And how do you expose the $40? Let me know in the chat if we are following. How my first buying amount is 10. How do I expose the $40? Let's interact in the chat. My first buying amount is 10. How do I expose $40 on each call from the 5th call up to the last call? Which figure do I put there, and how do I get that? Someone says I put 4. How? Try to explain why 4. 40 divided by 10. Very good. Excellent. Make the multiple buying ratio in 4 times. Good, but I need a very better explanation, like 40 divided by 10, yes. In 4 times per drop, yes. Instructing the board to buy 4 times, yeah, it is 4, but how do you get that? Many people are going, like, if you have good capital, you'll be confused. Because 10 is very simple. If I make like 13 as my first buying amount, do you know how many times? So this is the best way you have to do it. You just get your first buying in amount, that is 10. So with the answer you've got here, then you divide it by your first buying amount to get the figure you put there. That's 4. So when you get 4 times 10 is 40. So that means you're exposing 40 per call. 40 per call. So you're exposing most of your capital in sub positions. When you learn this, you'll even create your own strategies. You'll make money in the sub sales. You'll no longer need signals. You'll no longer be floating without making money. You'll make the $5 every day. You'll make the $10 every day. You'll make the $20 every day. You'll make the $100 every day in sub sales. You maintain a coin for a month. I've been trading coins for now 2 months. They are there. I maintain them as they are selling, buying, just like that. Okay. So that's how you put it there. So when you add up all these figures, you'll come up with your total cap. That means on multiple buying ratio, we are done with that. Then let's go to margin call drop. As I said, the margin call drop is the percentage you instruct the robot to buy whenever the market moves down. So how do you get this? In most cases, when you're trading, we have, that's why I talked about coin selection. There are coins that, if you've been attending my sessions, I explain well coins. There are coins that are not so volatile. They easily follow the trend, and I always give example of them. There are coins that are minimal, like they move up and down just on a minimal pace of volatility. Then there are those coins that are very volatile. For example, the meme coins. So when you try, if you have floating coins, you give me your percentage that you're floating on. You see, I try to give you a very clear picture. Like if you have some floating coins, you say that if I've been floating, I have a coin that was on mine, it's floating like that. Someone says negative 34. I want to give you a clear picture of this. Negative 34. You can list them. Don't be afraid. It's part of business, but we are just trying to find solutions on how to if you're floating at negative 32, Are you floating at negative 32 when you're making money? That's what you want to look at, because I can be floating at negative 32 and I'm making money down there. By the time the market moves up, I've made 50% of that coin out of that coin. Guys, are you afraid of? Yes, I was just talking on a yes, please, I'm making money. Yeah, if you're using sell positions, floating at that, but you're making money, that's good. But if you're floating big, you're not making money, that means your settings were not good. -8 for you, negative for you, you can't even get out of the market today. I need those big -20, negative. So you may find that most people are floating between the -20 to -40 or 50. So if you're floating a -50, that means the coin that you traded was so volatile on the market. This means that if you're trading a meme coin, at least your margin call drop should be totaling from negative, for a percentage of 30 to 50, and you divide that. Okay, let's talk of 30. Let's talk of 30. Let's talk of 30. Okay. Now you've got 15 margin calls on your strategy, then you're going to get that 30. You divide it by 15. That means it is going to give you 2 on each and every margin call drop. So you come here and put your 2. So by the time your coins fall up to 2, it will have bought all your margin calls. Even if it doesn't buy all your margin calls, but it will be buying as it is selling, just like that. When you set sub positions, please give them time. You can even set the coin, it can even take even a month before it buys all your margin calls, but it will be buying at least 40 to 80% as it is selling them. You have to give it time, don't panic. With this strategy, it is a long-term strategy that is going to be giving you money on a daily basis in a downward market. Whenever you set this strategy, you see the way you keep praying, oh Lord, let the market move up. But when you set this strategy, you're like, oh, let the market move down. You see, let the market move down so that my sub positions are, so that my margin call drops are bought. So if I set a strategy, I'll be praying, let the market move down. And you find many people are floating. That means I have good advantage on the market that 60 to 70% the market is going to move down. So if it moves down, that means I'll be happy. I'll be seeing the buys and sells. Let me hope I'm okay with that. So you do this on a volatile coin. This is what you do now, like -30, that was so volatile. So you do that. So you find that at least with your sub positions, 11 sub positions, you'll find that the bot is always buying. At least 5 margin calls, selling 3, selling 8, selling 10, according to the market that day. Okay, according to the market that day. Now, if you're trading like coins that are not so volatile, at least now, if you can try to look at Sol, Comp, INJ, they cannot fall beyond, unless if it's fundamental, beyond -15. So you get your 15, then you divide it by the number of margin calls, then you apply it on your margin call drop here, simple, and margin call drop or throughout. Let me hope, guys, we are okay. Let me hope we are okay with that. Can it be applied to a running coin? I mean, you can set it now to a coin already in the market. Yes, you can. I will explain that as long as you know what you're dealing with. It's what that I'm going to explain next. We're going to talk about that in compounding. And after doing this, you click show. So before you proceed, you come on your distributed and take profit allocation. You're going to look at the where is my hold on. I'll share my screen again. Okay. Now, then you're going to look at the distributed and take profit allocation. So I said the first four margin calls are sold here, and the and the sub positions, they've got the independent margin calls. If you're trading like BNB, those coins that are not so volatile, Ethereum, you're trading what else? Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin, you should leave it on 1% is enough for it. 1%. If it could be possible, you even put 0.5. If you're trading minimal coins, you can always use 1.5. 1.5. Like Beck, Worldcoin, all these minimal coins. It's very easy for them to sell 1.5. It is very easy, 1.5. If you're trading meme coins like Bonk now, Bonk, Floki, Pepe, Bomb, it's very easy for it to make just making 2% for Bonk. It is very simple. But if I'm trading meme coins, I use 2%. I use 2%. I use 2%. Like if I'm trading Bonk, I can use 2%. 2%. So this means that each and every call is holding $40. So $40 is going to be sold. So I've got my 11 margin calls. This is how you benefit from this. Then you get your $40 on each call, on each sub position, times 2%. You get, that means on each and every sub position you'll be earning 0.8. Then if it happens to sell 5 margin calls, you earn $4. If it happens to sell 8 margin calls, you earn 6.5. If it happens to sell 11 margin calls, you earn 8.8. So on average, if it happens to sell 5 margin calls every day, we'll see, you'll be earning your $4 using your 500, your $4. So if you happen your $4, if it happens to sell it like for several days, you see it increasing, like you see your capital increasing, those $4. It's something good with the money. So if the coin is volatile enough, like if you're trading like Bonk, it can even, I call it recycling, like it can sell, buy at a separate time. It can buy and sells, then it buys again that very call. Like if it is a safe call, it can buy it, sell it. The market moves down, it buys it again, it sells it the second time. This means that you may find yourself, if the market is very volatile, you may find yourself that you have 11 margin calls, but it has bought more than 11 because it has been repeating. It has been repeating. That means like you can find like it is 40 times 2%. That's 0.8. Then you may find that it has bought and sold at least like 15 times. You find yourself making 12. I remember I was trading Accro using 500. Then I said this way, I was taking because it was very volatile. It was pumping. So I took 5 days when I was making $20 with just 500, $20 on sub positions, $20. So when you're done with this, you click show, then you save. So when you save, your strategy would be saved. So when you're going to trade the coin, let's say now I'm going to trade Cream. I click on Cream. I click understand. I click margin strategy, like this section here. Then I click trade setting, then manually create. So instead of wasting my time setting, I know I've got my 500. I'm just going to click on choose a strategy setting because I saved it. So when you click on choose a strategy setting, they're going to give me the strategy that I saved. I'm just going to click on it just like that. Then everything will come in, except the default first buying amount is always 12. for which it doesn't change. You just have to change your favorite first buying amount as 10. Then the rest will be in. When you try to look at the settings, they will be like the way we said, they will come in themselves. You just have to click choose strategy. You choose that strategy that you saved. Then after, the settings will come in automatically. Then you save. Then you click show. So you make sure that the margin call is on. The air margin call should be off. Then before you start your coin, I gave someone a coin, some positions, and this person was like, I forgot to click on strategy mode to change it to sub-in mode real-time settlement or sub-in mode. So you can use sub-in mode or sub-in mode real-time settlement. So the whole warehouse is going to sell all the positions at once. The sub-in mode is going to be buying and selling, but will not provide the profits, not until all positions are closed, or maybe it is very good. It is very good, like it becomes good when you're trading on sub-in mode to do what we call automatic compounding, but you not get the settings right. So that's why like we need to understand what compounding is. So we choose sub-in mode real-time settlement. Whatever it sells, it provides me with the profits in my wallet. Yeah. Then I choose sub-in mode real-time settlement. Then I click show. Then I activate. I create my bot. So it will start trading. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Today my second time on Zoom, but at least I'll catch up. Keep attending severally. Yeah, consistently you learn much and you'll be able to teach others. That come from explaining. The third was the magic. Like, were you not following when I said that you list your coins floating? So I got the average of 30 margin call drop. Then I divided it by the number of margin calls. As I explained, like always listen, like my explanation, where like some coins fall beyond 40. Like if you're dealing with meme coins, your margin call drop, the smallest should be 30. Because if they start falling, they can go even beyond 50. Then there are a mistake I've been trying. So I used to reduce margin call drop so that the coins are bought again in the downward movement. For example, if the call drop is 2%, I force the bot to buy for. When you do that, that means you're not confident of what you're doing. You're panicking. Because when you reduce it, now, if the market falls rapidly, it will just go through. Only one candle will buy all the calls. So you'll find that you're not covered. So it will go through your calls and it goes beyond your margin call drop. Don't panic. Just give it time. Just give it time. Like make it like it is not a short scheme. It is a long scheme. It will take some time, but it will give you what you want on the market. It will give you that consistency. It will give you that recurring results. I have many executed margin calls. Is that okay? Because most times I want all this capital to be used in margin calls. So in case it goes bullish easily, I take more profits. Yes, we all need that, but you need to understand if you have some good, like now, if I'm trading now, I'm not exposing all my capital. You'll find on my wallet, there are some USDTs just there waiting for the market to go down so that it buys. So sometimes it's not very good to expose 100 like it is bought on, because we don't move these coins. We don't know where they're going. So you have to be in a position that even if the market keeps falling, there is something to buy. So sometimes when the market is falling rapidly, for me, instead, I increase my margin call drop so that it buys cheaply, deeper. It keeps buying deep. For you reduce. For me, I increase instead. That's what I do. For me, I increase so that the market, so that they buy my margin call drops deeper. By the time it comes out, I'm making sales. Is it possible to set multiple trade setting, as in many coins Is it what you mean? What happens if the price doesn't fall too deep as you had set the margin call loss, but instead goes up after buying a few margin calls? That's why I said leave it on cycle. It will be selling on cycle, but will not keep up. It has to drop. That means to drop again and buy your margin calls. That's why I said that you first leave your strategy on cycle. So when it buys several margin calls, is when you can put it on one shot. That's why we first leave it on cycle. On cycle, the coin will be maintained. It will not move out. It will not move out. The first 4 margin calls will be sold repeatedly. Then when it drops to the margin call drops, it will buy them. So you may find that you have 20 margin calls, but on a good market, you find that it has used 10 margin calls, but it has bought 10 margin calls and sold them. Then it buys them again. You find that almost it has bought your 20 margin calls, but only using 10 margin calls. But what could have been happened to a coin when it falls and reaches a certain point and stuck there, no more moving either upwards or downwards? I explained that if you've been attending my Zoom lessons about TradingView, I said that sometimes what causes the market to move up, it is the buying pressure and the selling pressure. So if the buying pressure is equally to the selling pressure, we go into what we call a consolidation. The coin is always there stagnant for some time, not moving up, but at least it makes some movement. If you have some positions, they will be sold. It will be making 5%, it comes down again. 5%, it comes down. Give good strategy for 150. 150, you're going to use 10. You can use 10. You can use, I've tried that so much to come up with a good strategy. You're going to use 10 margin calls. You're going to have a good margin drop of about 15. Then you're going to use 5%, sorry, $5 as your first buying amount. Those people with 150, you're going to use $5 as your first buying amount. Just like the way I've been dividing, try to use $5. They say that cycle is good for people with good capital, but those with small capital should not take. Rather, yes. If now with 500, you can leave it on cycle. You can leave it on cycle. Now with 100, why do you have to leave it on cycle? 200, no. But you can leave it on cycle for some time. You can keep looking at it like for some time. Like if the coin moves up, if it buys the calls, you switch it to one shot. That's why when the market is bumping, I come in the group, I say, if you know your sub positions have been sold and your first 4 calls have been sold repeatedly, put your coin on circle, let it get out, we get another strategy. As simple as that. That's about strategy of 90. Guys, we need to increase capital. I'm not going to lie to you. With sub positions, you need good capital. With a minimum of like 200. The minimum, I can say 200. For 90, it's all about learning and to know how the bot, but you can do one shot, so you can take the signals, they'll work for you. But with sub positions, you need to keep increasing capital. So, okay, guys, with 9 minutes left, let's try to talk about compounding. Now, compounding, see, as explained, that is simply when you use your profits that you've made or the capital gains to go into the market again. So for example, we've been trading cream and we're using $500. So 40 on sub positions. Now, if it sells times 2% per sub position, like I had showed you, that's 0.8. Then if it sells 10 times, that's about 8. That's about 8. This means that if you can be able to make 8 in 10 days, that's 80. That means you've made $80. $80 in 10 days. Then you go to your settings again. You go to your settings again. Here you're going to do compounding. You either increase your margin call drop like by two. If it was 15, you make it 17. Then you go to margin configuration. That means you've added 2 margin calls. You're going to add also your 80. That means you are using 100, you are using 500. Now you're going to add 80. That means the strategy will be 580. So you can come and put also your, then after you put your 80, that is 80 divided by 2 is 40, 40. So 40, 40. So here you've compounded, you've added. Here you've added. Or you can do this. You can leave it as 15. Then you go to margin configuration. Then you look at your calls from the 5th up to the last. That means there are 11 calls. So you get your 80, then you divide by 11. Is it? Yeah, you divide by 11, you get 7. Then with 7, you divide by your first buying amount as 10. That means you're going to get 0.7. Then 0.7, you're going to add it on what you've been putting here, the initial one, 4 times. That means you're adding in the 80. This one here, plus 4. Then you get 4.7. That means you've divided 80 in your 11, and the number you've got, the result you've got, you add it by 4, so that you increase your multiple buying ratio. So it will be, this time it will be 4.7, just like that. You put 4.7 throughout up to the last call. Let me hope I'm okay with that. Let me hope I'm okay with that. Where have you got 80? I said, you've been trading with 500, and in 10 days, it has given you profits of $80 as your capital gain, or as your profits, $80. Now, the $80, you want to put it in the strategy again. That's what we call compounding. That means this time, the strategy will not be carrying 500 only. It will be carrying 580. So how do you fix your 80 there? I gave you the first option. You increase the margin call, then you divide the number of margin calls by what you've added. That is 80 times the 2 margin calls we added to get 4. That's 40, 40. That's 80. Then the second option, I said, you can instead maintain your margin calls as 15. Then you increase your multiple buying ratio. You get the 80, you divide by the number of the sub positions, 11. 80 divided by 11. Then what you get, you add it on the multiple buying ratio. If it was 4 and you go to 0.7, is 0.7 plus 4 to give you 4.7. So 4.7, this time to be buying 4.7, that's about 47 calls. So sorry, $47. So you can see that it was buying, initially it was buying 40, 40, but this time to be buying 47, 47, 47. So that's what we call compounding. This is the best explanation I've ever had. Yeah, I try to make it very simple. I take my time because for me, I trade. So I do this practically. I trade. Whatever I'm doing it, I've practiced it and it has worked for me. I trade. Oh, very mathematical, but very easy to understand. Yes, maybe I'll repeat one more time. Let me repeat practically. Okay. Let's go back. This was 4. We said this was our strategy of 500. Okay. Now, for the 10 days, we've made $80 with our 500 in sub position. And we want to add these $80 so that they also keep working, so that we increase on our capital. Then the first option, you increase your margin calls. That means it was 15, you've made it 17. That means you've added 2 margin calls. You go to margin configuration. The 2 margin calls you've added, you'll be shown here down. That means you're going to also set them. You put your margin call drop. Then you get your 80 profits that you've made. Then you divide by the 2 margin calls to get 40. How do you apply 40? You come and you put your 4. That's the first option. Let me hope I'm clear with that. Now, okay, guys, my network went off. Let's proceed. Just a few minutes. Let's proceed. Don't get out. Don't miss the last explanation. Let's proceed. So we are looking at the second option. We said that the second option, we are going to divide 80, what you've made as profits, in the sub positions. We have 11. So we are going to go to our calculator. We get the 80 and we have 11 margin position. We divide by 11 to get 7. That means we are exposing $7. We are adding $7 on each call. But how do you expose the $7? You simply divide it by your first buying in amount, which gives you 0.7. So with 0.7, you add the 4. The 4, this is what? So that means you're trying to add the $7 here. On each call, you're adding $7 here. That means you're going to 4 times, then you add 0.7 times to get 4.7. That means you've added $7. It was buying $40. Now it is buying $47. So that means you've added your 80 here. So you go and put 4.7, just like that, throughout. Then after, when the trade is running, then after you click show, then you go, then after clicking show, you save. Then that's all. Then you leave the trade to run. Then it will sell the initial 40. If it is buying again, it's going to buy 47. Yeah. Let me hope we're okay with that. Let me hope we've got that. Yes, let me hope we've got that. We are out of time. Yeah, do you have questions? Let me hope we've got that compounding very simple. Do you have questions, guys? Do you have questions? Yeah, I have questions. I have a question. Do you want me to give you a microphone, you ask? What's your name anyway? Mist. Missed?
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Ask your question, please.
Mine is not so much as a question, but it's sort of an elaboration. Yes.
Okay.
My first time attending this, like really fully attending this Zoom. And I'm kind of a visual learner.
Yeah.
So if I ask, because you have been dealing with 500, yes, which is good. But you have really introduced a lot of concepts that I didn't. I picked up some, but that is to be expected. If I ask, and if I told you that, okay, as we are during the Zoom, I got 500 USDT and deposited it on the Binance TRS. And at this very moment, I asked you to enter a strategy using that 500, any coin, whatever. That is good because for someone, I can't set strategy now because I do not understand. So if I ask you to enter a strategy and I copy it now.
Try to be audible.
If I asked you to, I don't know if it's a strategy, if I asked you to enter a strategy of your choice, and I copy it now, which one would you do? How would you enter it? Using 500 as principal.
Okay, that will depend on the currency you're going to set. So if you choose a certain currency, we shall have to first, like, as me, it's my job, like, that's why I'm always on Zoom. There are very few people who are going to learn about that deep technical analysis. But as for me, like, if you get to me, like, I have got the $500, please, I need a strategy. Then I'll have to find you a good strategy. Like, that means I have to find you a coin to trade. Because your capital is not that flexible. When I talk about flexibility, I mean that there's that capital that tackles each and every coin, whether it is volatile, whether it is a meme coin, whether it is what. I'll just say trade trade any coin, even if it is volatile, but I'll give you the settings. But if you have like a certain capital, like 400, 500, there are coins that I look at. There are coins that I recommend you to trade, not each and every coin. So I can say, trade this coin, then I can give you the settings. So the settings vary according to the volatility of that coin you're trading. So you cannot put the settings.
What I'm saying. What I'm saying is I just have 500 USD. That's all I have. So, and if I ask for a strategy, it means you're the one to select the coin, yes? The trade pair. So if I'm saying, okay, let me remove the word if. I have 500 USD. And I want, if I know if there are parameters or if it's a strategy to trade today. Yes.
Okay, you have 500, you want to trade today.
Yes.
That means then I'll say I'll have to give you a strategy. I'll have to give you a coin and a strategy. Then you trade. Then I'll have to guide you on how you're going to set them.
That is what I want.
Okay. So we've got if your upline is still new as well, okay, is not well conversant with what I'm teaching or what is solo is done occasionally in the business, like setup and what signals and what, you can find a mentor to help you. You can find a mentor on your RoyoQ app to help you. So for those people in my mentorship, they really understand well. I always read them out and I help them. So for those on my team as well, and so for RoyoQ in particular, as the group, we always meet in the groups and and the Zoom sessions. So if you want my personal attention, at least maybe if you're on my mentorship, that's when you'll have to I'll have to give you my personal attention, maybe in the inbox, like you can call me, say like, I want to learn this. Then I can give you like 30 minutes. Will you share your screen on Google Meet or Zoom? Then we learn something. If you're on my mentorship or my team, I'll give you that time personally. And if you want to meet me physically, if you're on my mentorship, we can meet physically, and on my team, I can teach you that. Yeah. So for the rest of also they've got their mentors, their mentors can take them through, but that's for me. So for the general attendance and the Royal Q in particular, the groups, it is always in the groups that we give these trainings and on Zoom sessions. So for personal attention like me, you can maybe make me your mentor. That means that we are business partners, we are so close. That means it is my responsibility as your mentor to teach you. I can give you my time just like that. Get his personal number. I am always in the group. That number that has got Crypto Rider as the name there. So my name is Juicy, but I use their Crypto Rider. If you need my number, it's there. I cannot give it here. You just have to go like, I'm active in the group. I always comment. I'm one of those top admins that are very active in the group. Leader Lawrence, Crypto Rider, and some other leaders that are very active. So you can reach me out in my inbox, then we can talk. Is it automatic for the profit to be added? Your profits for trading takes place in your exchange, not Royal Q, please. It is in your exchange, not Royal Q. Because every time it sells, your profits drop in your Binance, not Royal Q. What you see on Royal Q is a statement of what you've made that day. They're trying to show what you've made, but the actual profits drop in your Binance. Do you have more questions? Do you have more questions? Do you have more questions before I close? What if I want to compound? How do I get that profit? Still, you're investing more of what you've got in your Binance, because if you've made 80, it drops to your Binance. It is added to the 500. It becomes 580. Then you compound it. You add it on the short. I said, for those who want personal training, please, you can reach me out. Like if you're within or around Kampala, we can meet, give you 1 hour, 2 hours, at least physically you'll be able to learn. For those who cannot reach me physically, online, we are doing an online business. So 99%, 95%, everything is done online. I can teach you. How do I compound 100? It depends on how many margin calls you want to add. You compound it. If you're like saying maybe where are you located, please chat me like in my inbox. Like you can reach me out, not here. I'll give you directions, like if we talk more, like how do I compound 100 as your capital? Because if you're compounding, that means 100 is your profits and you want to add it in the strategy. That means you're going to add the margin calls, then you divide the number of margin calls you've added by 100, then you get the figures. Then you'll have to put the figures like I've showed you. Otherwise, I think there are no more questions. 100 capital, you're not compounding, you're creating a strategy. What you make out of 100 is what you compound. Okay, guys, you can have a great day. Thanks for attending. Thanks for your time.